Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to discuss something which a lot of people suffer from, and it's low blood pressure during Ramadan. Low blood pressure, also known as hypotension, is a condition many people suffer from while fasting in Ramadan. So with a low blood pressure, symptoms usually include dizziness, headache, shortness of breath, and just feeling generally fatigued throughout the day. If left unaddressed, it can be severe enough to cause unconsciousness and essentially will require you to break your fast if not managed correctly. So here are a few tips to keep in mind to prevent or lower your risk of developing low blood pressure, especially when you're fasting during Ramadan. So with the first one, my question to you is, how much sleep are you getting during this month? This is always an issue. Lack of sleep, especially when you're trying to get your night prayers done, you're trying to wake up for suhoor, you're trying to read fajr. Sleep does get disrupted, and sometimes you've got to make a sacrifice whether you want to sleep or whether you want to pray, whether you want to eat. You have to develop some sort of routine where you're kind of hitting each objective. Studies have proven that lack of sleep will affect your blood pressure throughout the day. So we need to get this in check and get you into a routine for this month. So here's my advice. Within a 24-hour period, I want you to aim for 3 to 4 sleep cycles. So one cycle is 1.5 hours. You should be aiming for around 4.5 to 6 hours each night. And during the day, whilst fasting, you can even incorporate, if you have time, for a 20 to 30 minute nap. Best time to schedule this nap will be after, let's say, your Zuhr prayer. But make sure you keep it at maximum 30 minutes. Do not go beyond that. Otherwise, you fall into this territory. If your sleep's prolonged, you suffer from this hangover effect. And that will definitely disrupt your sleep later on in the night. So that's why I recommend 30 minutes maximum, because that appears to be the best trade-off between it being practical in the day and also you trying to maximize the health benefits from having that nap. Next up, do not skip suhoor. Some people just tend to skip suhoor. I think it's most down to tiredness. They do get up, they make the intention to fast, they pray fajr prayer, either they get on with the day or they go back to bed. I highly suggest, even if you're not hungry, please make sure you have something to eat in suhoor. Your body will thank you when it comes to around midday, especially when you're just not feeling right. Even if you are super tired, and even if you keep pressing that snooze button until the very last 10 minutes, skipping this meal does tend to make your fast more difficult and has been known to lead to a blood pressure dip. Eat small meals more frequently throughout the night after your iftar meal. Now, the iftar meal, you're with your family, it's a massive blessing, there's lots of food in front. We tend to fall into this trap where we lose discipline in terms of eating. And whenever we tend to consume very large meals in a very short amount of time, this does cause a dramatic drop in your blood pressure as your body works harder to digest larger meals. All your blood's gushing to your stomach and not your brain. Not only can that cause lower blood pressure, but also you're feeling just fatigued and just feeling tired throughout the night. A lot of us go to Tarawih prayers. You want to maximize that. You want to feel good whilst doing it, not feeling lethargic whilst you're praying. So to avoid all that, why not split the meal into smaller bites? So if you can, a small bite to eat, pray your Maghrib prayer, you can have a little bit more to eat, hydrate, carry on with your night. And then after your prayers are finished, come back to have another smaller bite. That way, you'll just feel more energized. You'll feel better within yourself rather than feeling fatigued, dizzy, lethargic, blood pressure fluctuating. You won't feel great. If you consume this in the number of hours between your night prayers and before you sleep, your body will thank you and you'll feel a lot fresher. Stay hydrated with water and electrolytes. This is very important. We want to avoid dehydration whilst we're fasting and also post-fasting during the night. Simply put, when your body doesn't have enough water, the amount of blood within your body, i.e. your blood volume, this decreases. And when your blood volume decreases, your blood pressure also drops. So here's what you should do in preparation for your fast the next day. When you break your fast during iftar, ensure you have a 2-litre water bottle at hand. You can add half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt and a freshly squeezed lemon or lime. It's important to drink this mixture in small sips throughout the night. So you can have it at iftar and you can have it after your night prayers and before bed. So you're sipping through 2 litres to 3 litres of water. Just avoid consuming it all in one go, as your body will not absorb it properly and you won't be able to retain it. It just means you're running to the bathroom every 5 minutes. So maintaining your hydration levels at this steady pace will reset and prepare the body for hours of fasting ahead, therefore greatly reducing your risk of a blood pressure dip in the day. My next tip is make sure you add fruits to your iftar meal. Now, these are rich in dietary fibers and these store water, which helps replenish bodily fluids and thus prevents dehydration and hypotension. Some examples I could give is leafy greens, bananas, apples, pears, grapes, watermelon, and pomegranates, just to name a few. But again, these are fruits, simple sugars. You need to have these in moderation. Number 6 would be to include foods rich in vitamin B12 and folate. Now, deficiency in these vitamins can lead to a certain type of anemia, which can cause lower blood pressure and fatigue. So try to include these specific foods, especially in your suhoor meal. So foods high in vitamin B12 include your eggs, animal meats, salmon, tuna. Foods high in folate include asparagus, beans, lentils, citrus fruits. These vitamins play an effective role in controlling blood pressure and keeping it within the normal range. So the next one is when you're fasting during the day, if possible, avoid exposure to direct sunlight for long periods of time, as the high temperatures will cause excessive sweating, and that can contribute to loss of body fluids, resulting in dehydration and again your blood pressure dipping. If your line of work does involve strenuous activity, just be aware to take regular breaks. My last tip is for people suffering from high blood pressure, hypertension. So they take blood pressure medication to help lower it. For example, you could be on amlodipine, lisinopril, losartan. Now in Ramadan, your blood pressure will be different because of fasting. It may be sitting naturally lower, and then you're taking your regular medication, which can lower it further. This is where it's important to speak to your GP. So before you make any changes, I would make a blood pressure diary. Record your blood pressure measurements twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Show this diary to your GP, who will then make the necessary changes. You may not need the strength of tablets that you're on, especially during this month, or whether your GP can monitor you in the 4 weeks of Ramadan to make sure you're on the right dosage with your current blood pressure reading. I hope this helps, because I've had a lot of clients suffer from low blood pressure in Ramadan. A lot of people have been commenting on this issue, and I thought I'd make a video on it just to give you some tips on how you could naturally raise your blood pressure, especially when fasting. Please guys, I am new to YouTube. I want to bring more content in relation to health and in relation to family and Islam, and support as much as you can. There's a lot of work going into these videos, and I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe and share whenever you can. Have a blessed Ramadan, and inshallah I'll see you for the next video. Take care guys. Assalamu alaikum.